I thought you guys might want to see this unboxing video. So this is a White Truck Erector set. It's a number 7.5 that I purchased on an online auction, and this one came to me out of Connecticut. And this is it's a true model set. As I bought several of these sets online, it's always interesting to see the different ideas people come up with for packaging. The box is a little rough on the outside. There's a decal right here that you can still just barely read Gilbert Toys. The hasps kind of work, which is normal. So this is a brown box. So right here I can still see it's a number 7.5, and it is full of the dreaded packing peanuts. I'll cut this, get the peanuts out of the way, and then come back. All right, most of the packing peanuts are gone. There's a few little pieces still down in there, but just to give you a picture, this is basically the way the parts were in there. I don't know if the packing peanuts actually did any good. So there's 2 wheels and tires, and there's 2 more. So I'll take those out of the package in a little bit, but they feel very, very hard, which is normal. Steering shaft. There's the boiler. I'll move the boiler out of the way. Some parts for the scoop. Get those up out of there. Boiler top. There's 3 of the spoked wheels. And there's the 4th. There's 5 of those discs there. All right, so now I'll pull out some of these other parts. As I said, it was advertised online as a 1928 true model set. It doesn't say true model on the box anywhere. I have a red box true model set, and that one says true model across the top of the box. So maybe this is, maybe it isn't. But let's pull a few of the White Truck parts out and take a look at those. So this set, I did not buy this set to restore. I bought it for the parts for the White Truck. You can open up these wheels here. Actually, they're not in bad shape. The tires look okay. This one here has a couple of bad cracks in it. They actually are not as hard as I expected. This one is damaged here. My plan for this set is that I will restore the white truck parts that I use to build a truck. And with a soaking in warm water, these tires might actually soften up enough that the two good ones might come off of the rim okay. So that's good news. Those would be, able to be cleaned and used like that. One little parts box here that has some of the brackets in it. Always take a look for the L brackets that I believe they're actually referred to as like a bearing bracket, that are thicker. So they kind of are like this, but they're made out of a thicker metal. And in many of the sets, for whatever reason, those heavier duty brackets are gone. So maybe those were robbed out by dads that needed to fix something and needed a heavier bracket to do that. So here we have the two front fenders, and those appear to both be in really nice condition. Nobody's messed around with them, so they only have the two original holes in them, so that's nice. Here's the hood, and the hood does have the brass radiator cap. There's the front bumper, and that has some real light rusting and real light pitting on it, but that's in decent shape. So here's the truck bed. So that truck bed is a large decal bed. So the 5-inch curved girders, they look overall pretty straight. The front axle. So this front axle, as I saw this in the pictures of the auction, it's got the depression in it here on each side. And I thought I remember reading in one of the books about the earlier sets that this was used in the little bit earlier sets, not the 1926, but further on. So that might indicate that this might be a little earlier than what was advertised. So, but that's in nice condition. The steering knuckles are important. So there is one of the steering knuckles. And I don't see the second one yet, but hopefully that will be in here. Here's some 5-inch straight girders, and those almost look like they've never been used. So those possibly, there's 5 of them bolted together there. Maybe those never got used on a project. So the metal angle plates in here, these are of course painted. You can see that they're painted red, so you find them either red or black. And the paint is not terrible. Here's one that's been bent, so I'm assuming that maybe was bent for the floor on the white truck, or for the where the floorboard would angle up. That may have been where that came into play. There's one more of these. And then these, there's 2 of the black ones, and then there's 6 of the red ones. So I'd have to take a look at an inventory sheet. Here's the front steering, and that's factory red. And I did notice on the steering column that has some black paint on it, so I think that was probably factory black. The 4 springs are there. Here's another part of the scoop. Steering wheel is painted black, and this is definitely one of the little bit earlier style steering wheels. I really like that one. It's got a brass piece on the back, and then this one is actually really nice and straight. A lot of them, they look like they were probably off, they just were put in crooked from the company in the way they were pressed, so that's nice to have that. And I just became way more happy. I was starting to get a little sad. There's the second steering knuckle, so that is that's very helpful. And then both of the larger pieces are in here. These all have the small holes, so I think, again, this is probably going to be a little bit earlier than 1928. So just in here, the rest of the parts, there's some gears and pulleys in here. One of the larger girders. So all 3 of these little pieces are in there. Now here we have these axle holders. There's some that are a nickel plate. There's one red one, so that's always interesting. And then there's some axles in here as well. So here's a bunch of the girders, and this stuff, it all looks in fairly decent condition as far as straightness goes. There's a couple that are bent up, but a lot of these are straight. But the nickel plating is completely gone. So these will be great pieces. This, all the plating is gone. It's all rusty. Here's a group that are bolted together. So those all look pretty decent, again, for straightness. Oh, now here we go. These are some parts from a different set. I think these came later for Erector. So these are the longer girders. And I did not realize that those were going to be in there. So that's an 18.5 inch. And so that's a little bonus. And for parts, there are 4 of those, 2 in blue and 2 in nickel plated. But as I looked at this set, I kind of expected that it's going to be a little bit earlier set than what was advertised. And it was in a condition where I don't have a problem stripping everything down on this. And this is one that I'll probably powder coat everything and go ahead and assemble a white truck with all powder coated parts. It does have the two roof pieces, and those are also not in terrible condition. This one has a little bit of creasing in it. This one does too, but some of these I've seen in my other sets, they're in terrible condition. And then, every once in a while I get lucky, and I think I have 1 or 2 sets where these pieces were never used. And in one of the sets I have, they're still kind of wrapped up in the original wrapping that they came in 100 years ago. So that's always kind of cool to see. So this one, has, the rear axle is a solid 1/4 inch axle. It doesn't have the larger center section. So yeah, I'll have to do a little bit of research with this, and everything else in here are just, again, different girders, and then the 2 longer axles are still down in there. So I'll do a little research, kind of figure out exactly what year this would appear to be. And then, this one is one I bought strictly for the purpose of stripping it down, repainting everything, and building a really nice display truck. Thanks for watching.